Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
The WNBA thought they could rough up Caitlin Clark every night, and fans would just keep clapping like it's halftime at a middle school game. Well, plot twist. After Clark got body checked, like it was Game 7 of the NHL Finals, fans aren't just mad, they're boycotting like it's Black Friday. And the refs took their coupons the league wanted physical play. But now it's got a full-court protest who knew the path to equality involved throwing elbows at your MVP ticket sales. Well, brace yourselves as we get right into this saga.
It was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
Oh, the WNBA thought it was in for a calm, drama-free season. That's adorable, because just when everything seemed to be going right, ratings soaring, jerseys flying off the shelves, and every Fever game being treated like a Taylor Swift concert boom, Caitlin Clark's squad decided it had other plans. Now she's bench fans are acting like the earth fell out of orbit, and the WNBA is quietly panicking behind closed doors while pretending everything's totally fine. It's not.
Get in the back. We know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And, of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
2 weeks, that's how long Clark's sitting out with strained quadriceps. Not a tear, not a break, but enough to flip the league script upside down her thigh, basically file for PTO, and the Fever's franchise centerpiece is now chilling on the bench while the WNBA scrambles to hold the spotlight. And the reactions, they've been subtle. If by subtle, you mean absolute public meltdown.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain. And the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
Clark's fans, aka the most rabid, merch-wearing Twitter cackalock supporters since Michael Jordan stands, are already staging emotional walkouts. They've turned a minor injury into a revolution. I'm done watching. Until Clark returns, this league ain't worth it. Without her boycott, the WNBA, these people are acting like the league personally slapped their grandma and stole their dog. Meanwhile, every other player is out here like, hi, we exist too. While the internet responds, not now, sweetie.
It's the latter. It could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
And Indiana, well, they're suddenly discovered what life is like without their golden goose. The Caitlin Clark show has temporarily gone off air, and now Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell are trying to hold the entire franchise together with duct tape. And Hustle Mitchell's play like she's got 3 lungs, Boston's rebounding like she's fighting ghosts, and Coach Stephanie White is rewriting game plans like she's in Hunger Games, yet somehow the Fever might actually stay afloat. Why? Because the next few games are against teams who've been about as threatening as lukewarm soup. No offense, Chicago Sky. Okay, maybe a little offense.
There's no way. Every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
But let's be real, the most entertaining part of the WNBA isn't the scoreboard, the highlight reels, or even the actual basketball. It's watching the league try to pretend it's still a party. When a life of said party, Caitlin Clark just got benched before her injury. Clark wasn't just in the MVP conversation. She was a conversation, sure, some try to act like she was a long shot, like she was just good for a rookie, but that's like saying Beyonce is okay for a singer. Please, Caitlin wasn't just. Putting up numbers, she was dragging an entire franchise back into relevance, like a one-woman rescue mission. She had the ratings, the sellouts, the celebrity shout-outs, the screaming fans, and the nosebleeds wearing homemade jerseys with glitter glue. She didn't just bring excitement, she single-handedly rebooted the WNBA's algorithm. We're talking record-breaking views arenas that suddenly remembered what it feels like to be full and merch flying off the shelves faster than Taylor Swift tickets. And now the queen is temporarily off the board, and everyone's pretending this MVP race is suddenly wide open like the rest of the league wasn't just orbiting her gravitational pole 5 minutes ago cute.
Breaking WNBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person. And, you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one player.
Meanwhile, back in Indiana, the Fever are quietly figuring things out, and they might just come out better for it. Because without Clark doing literally everything, the rest of the team is stepping up, and when she returns rested, refocused, and absolutely done with all the noise, buckle up, imagine Clark storming back on the court, draining threes in the parking lot, and shushing every doubter who tried to write her off after 2 weeks of quad rehab. That's not just a comeback, that's an encore in here's. The real kicker, the Fever can survive the stretch, stay competitive, maybe even pull off a couple sneaky wins. They're going to be a problem, a big one. Because with Clark healthy, boss, and confident, and Mitchell gassed up, you're looking at a potential playoff spoiler with more momentum than a freight train. So, yes, Caitlin Clark is injured temporarily, but the WNBA, it's still rolling maybe louder than ever, because now every storyline's cooking at once MVP drama, rising stars, fan feud, conspiracy, theories, and Clark's eventual comeback tour.
Just as I started talking about Caitlin Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlin Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
So to all the fans boycotting the league until their basketball messiah returns, here's a reality check. Without Caitlin, watching the WNBA feels like tuning in after the main act has left the stage. Sure, the league's packed with talent. But without her, the sparks missing, the energy's flat, and the drama lukewarm. At best, go ahead, rage, tweet from your Clark theme bean bag, because the WNBA isn't evolving, it's surviving, and when she's back, it won't just be basketball. It'll be the show we've all been waiting for. Now we're in this weird paradox where the games are smoother, but no one's watching. No more viral fouls, no more debates over whether that was a hard foul or an attempted exorcism. Without Clark being body checked, every 5 minutes the discourse has calmed down. And that's exactly what's scaring the WNBA the most, because controversy sells, let's be honest, as much as the league tries to lean into basketball. Excellence, the numbers went up when Kaylin got smacked in the jaw knot. When someone hit a textbook backdoor. Cut the headlines and explode when Enrique Ambal dropped 30. They exploded when Clark got fouled hard and someone tweeted assault. The WNBA has been getting free PR from chaos now that their chaos engine is benched. They're nervously staring at the stat sheets like it's their credit card bill. Oh, and don't even get started on the merch people somewhere in a warehouse. There are pallets of Caitlin Clark jerseys just sitting there like, hey, remember us? Sales slowed the minute she limped off the court, and the accountants are sweating like they just invested in Beanie Babies. In 2024, a 12-game Caitlin Clark hiatus would basically be the WNBA's version of an eclipse, brief, rare, and wildly inconvenient for anyone trying to sell tickets.
Turns out she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at
You know,
least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.
And now fans do what fans do best, throwing temper tantrums like toddlers who got the wrong Happy Meal toy. Entire comment sections are ablaze with "she should have gone to Europe" cries. Because, of course, it's a rational solution to getting hurt. Pack your bags and flee the continent. Apparently, the quad muscle heals faster when you're dunking on Lithuanian 19-year-olds for a $5,000 a week genius. But let's talk about this "she should have gone to Europe" narrative first of all. Yes, the pay overseas is often better because oligarchs don't care about salary caps. Second, yes, European fans worship their basketball queens like royalty, but Clark didn't come to the WNBA for comfort. She came to take over, and taking over isn't easy when half the league treats you like a piñata, and the other half pretends they're not obsessed with your every move. And speaking of obsession, let's have a moment of silence for the Caitlin Clark haters. They were just starting to perfect their hate watch routines. They had the tweets lined up, the memes, the breathless. She's overrated, takes bookmarked and ready. And now nothing radio silence. It's hard to hate watch someone who isn't playing their like. Sitcom villains who suddenly lost their lead actress, wandering around with too much time and too many opinions.
Big news just released by the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark has suffered a quad injury, and she is going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really bad news for people going to games at home hoping to see Caitlin.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is absolutely making the most of the spotlight. She's flexing trash talking and turning post-game pressers into TED Talks about haters, doubters, and media bias. And here's the kicker. It's working. The drama's delicious every time Reese shows up in a designer outfit and drops 15 rebounds. She's reinforcing her brand, unapologetic, unbothered. And here to dominate Clark may have brought the fans in, but Ree is keeping the pot stirred while the queen rests. Let's not forget that Clark Ree was supposed to be the game of the week, the rematch, the main event, Fever Ver, Caitlin Ver, Angel, the ratings bonanza. Everyone was drooling over. But now it's like showing up to WrestleMania and finding out The Rock stayed home. Sure, the show goes on, but it doesn't hit the same. And don't think the league's marketing team didn't cry into their conference call when they had to scrap all those Clash of Titans promos. Now it's more like watch two rising teams try not to trip over each other's mist layups. But let's zoom out a bit. Caitlin Clark getting injured may actually be the best thing to happen to the WNBA. Stay with me. Why? Because it's forcing the league to prove it has more than one star. It's forcing fans to meet players they've ignored, recognize greatness that isn't trending on TikTok, and understand that Clark is the beginning of a movement, not the whole movement.
Clark might be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA. There was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will.
We're seeing in real time the Angel Reese psychological meltdown as she's actually being forced to grasp the fact that the thing that she is best at in her life, which is basketball, Caitlin Clark is exponentially better at than she is.
Suddenly, we're seeing clips of Kala Copper lighting it up for the Mercury people, are remembering that Brianna Stewart is still a walking bucket. Even players like Dirk Hamby are finally getting flowers for consistent play that never goes viral. The league is now showcasing depth talent and actual team identity. Imagine that. And when Clark comes back, and she will come back, you can bet the fever around the fever will hit a new high. If anything, this break is adding fuel to the fire. Her return won't just be a moment. It'll be an event, a resurrection, a statement. And every player who underestimated her while she was sidelined better hope she doesn't come back with revenge. Threes raining from the clouds. The real losers here aren't the fever. It's not Clark. It's not even the league. The real losers are the fans who tapped out the second she hit the injury report because they missed the rise of Collier. They missed re-evolving in real time. They missed the chance to witness a league finally forced to grow beyond its most popular name, and that's the kind of missed opportunity you can't just rewatch on ESPN plus the WNBA. Just survived a week without Caitlin Clark has not only survived but adapted, and in a few more games it'll be tested again. Because when she returns, there will be zero excuses, no rookie grace period, no adjusting to pro play, just 40 minutes of her trying to make up for lost time, torch nets, and silence. Every critic who thought her injury was the end of the ride